Lakers Postgame Show.
Delivered by new melts from Pizza Hut. Cheesy, crispy, and loaded with toppings for just $6.99. Enough for two, price for one. New Pizza Hut melts, only at Pizza Hut.
Lakers basketball is a final.
877-710 ESPN.
It's the Pizza Hut Lakers postgame show.
Tipping off now.
Here's Alan Sliwa.
All right, arguably the toughest loss of the year for the Los Angeles Lakers. 122-118, the final score against the Boston Celtics in OT. Had a really tough game a couple nights ago on Friday night against the Philadelphia 76ers. That game went into overtime as well. Looked like Lakers had that game different. An opportunity. Lakers came all the way back. The Philadelphia 76ers completely collapsed, and the ball was in AD's hand to hit a free throw to pretty much close the game. There were still 3.5 seconds left for Philly, but they had no timeouts, and it seemed like all momentum was going to the Lakers. AD missed that free throw. Game went into overtime. Lakers were out of gas, and that was it. That was a wrap. Lakers lost that game to Philly. Tonight, it's a different scenario. Lakers do have to come all the way back because they were down 20. Eventually take a 13-point lead. And let me be clear on this. If you have a 13-point lead with 4 minutes left, something around there, that should be the ball game. And I get it that the Boston Celtics have the best record in the NBA. I get it. They got real young superstars. Tatum is a real superstar. Jaylen Brown is going to be an all-star in this league for a long, long time. Marcus Smart's a nice role player. They're only going to get better, by the way, too, when they get Al Horford back and Robert Williams III. You're up 13 at home with 4 minutes left to go. That should be enough to close it out. Okay, it wasn't. But if you're up 2 and 28 seconds left on the clock and Anthony Davis at the free throw line, you just can't miss 2 free throws, period. There's no other way to put it. At least get 1 in so you're forcing a 3 on the other end. Instead, Lakers, they can't play the foul game now. Jason Tatum, who dropped, 44 tonight? He's got the ball to send the game into overtime, and I think it's fair to say Tatum's not worried about those moments to take the game to overtime. 2 really tough losses for the Lakers, one against Philly and one tonight against the Boston Celtics. I know the storylines are different, but I do believe that it was game time on the line for Anthony Davis to close it out, and he did not come through for the Lakers tonight. He's doing everything else, but those late-game free throws, those are clutch. Those are the situations that you pretty much tell the opposing team, yeah, this one's a wrap, and that was not the case. If there's a Laker fan out there that wants to make a case, hey, look, they're hanging with the Philadelphia 76ers. They're hanging with the Boston Celtics. They beat the Milwaukee Bucks. You're not wrong about that. In most instances, I would like to be here for that conversation, that argument. Here's a problem with that argument, Laker fans. They're 11-16. They started the season out 2-10, so they put themselves in such a tough position that you just don't have margin for error. Let me give you an example. The Celtics here are 22-7. If they lost tonight, they were 21-8. The world's not going to end. There's still a lot of basketball left to be played. But games like this that you got a chance to close out, you got to close it out. It makes me think of that loss to the Indiana Pacers when they were up 16 with 9+ minutes left to go, whatever that was, 9.5 minutes left to go. These are the type of games when you start your season out 2-10, you do not have the luxury to lose games like this. And this one, no question about it, is an absolute gut punch if you're a Los Angeles Laker fan. I'll throw out the phone number. It's 877-710-ESPN, 877-710-ESPN. If you're out driving around, maybe leaving the game and leaving crypto, or you're listening on the ESPNLA app, you can always feel free to call in and be a part of the show. We always appreciate you guys taking the time to call in. I do want to go to Lakers head coach Darvin Ham. Let's get his thoughts on the entire game, regulation, and OT as well.
Minutes and trying to figure out the swings when you're down by 20, get up 13, and LeBron and AD had played most of the second half. What were you trying to figure out there as you got down to crunch time?
Just strategically trying to see how we can wisely use our timeouts and, give them breaks that way. It's hard because you don't want to – it's twofold. These guys on the court, and I mentioned it after the Detroit game, you have guys that are in a good rhythm together, so you don't want to disrupt that. And on the flip side of that, you don't want to put a player at risk because they've been sitting down over there on the bench for so long, and then you bring them out there and then expect them, the intensity and the speed of the game is at such a level to where it's very easy to get hurt in a situation like that. So just trying to manage the timeouts. I could have done a better job in certain instances and using my timeouts quicker. But, that falls on me. We've got to get better in that regard. But I'm proud of my guys. I'm disappointed we lost. I'm proud of my guys. They competed, all the way to the end. And we gave ourselves a chance to win the game. It just didn't, came up a little bit short. Dave?
Yeah, so unlike Philly, where you had the missed layup from LeBron and the missed pull-up from Russ, and it seemed like the momentum kind of went the opposite way from there. You did score the first 4 points in overtime tonight. Where do you think it changed from that point?
I have to go back and look at the film. It was just different situations where, we're trying to force feed the ball to our main guys, and they collapse, they crowd them, the ball gets sprayed around, and guys, left, and it's a make-or-miss lead, so you have to make-or-miss it. And those are good looks. And the biggest thing is, once we go back and look at the film, is to see if we can get this a second or third action quicker. And then that doesn't mean that the ball won't come back to the person that we want to have it. But just getting the things quicker. And it's tough. It's a hard-fought game. Guys are fatigued. And the gin up that pace like that is like, we're human, and you're gonna need breaks. You're not gonna need to, take deep breaths and try to regather yourself. Especially, you get to overtime, and now you got to play another additional 5 minutes. And certain guys have been on the floor the entire fourth quarter, so it's why it's hard. That's why you got to be thankful when you get a W in the NBA, man. It's a tough league, especially against a team like that. One false move, they're gonna make you pay. So it's just a matter of getting the things quicker.
Darvin, to drill a little bit down on what Mike was asking, you had the same lineup the whole fourth quarter, most of the overtime. Was there just a certain point where you decided, these guys, I'm going to run with them? Did that reflect maybe the result of this game just feeling more significant? That's something you usually see in maybe a playoff game, not usually regular season. Yeah,
it was, it's one of these games where you look back when we played Milwaukee, and I'm just speaking on us personally. You look at the Milwaukee game, you look at the Philly game, you look at this game, like these are high-level opponents. And so, to see our guys rise to the occasion was great to see. And, again, you go through your rotation in the first half, third quarter, and that's going to reveal to you who's in a good rhythm, what lineup is working together. And this lineup that I had with Russ, Austin, Troy, Bron, and AD was working. It got us back into the game. It got us the lead and a commanding lead down the stretch. But at the end of the day, man, you just have to go with your gut and live with the results. And that's what I'm doing. It just... Another, additional point, and for anyone that was prepared to ask this question, it's what I told the team after the game is, everybody could talk about free throws, this and that, but whether it's Boston or the Sixers, whoever, the thing we can't do is spot teams 15, 17, 20-point leads, give up 30-plus points per quarter in the first half. Like, we have to do a better job of coming out and from the tip off, pressing our will upon our opponent and showing them what the game is going to be like, what our Laker identity is going to mean during this game, and that has to be on a consistent basis. What you saw in the second half, us digging in defensively, running, getting looks, attacking the paint, that's what I want our identity to be, just a tough, physical, smash-mouth basketball team and who gets stops. And we just can't keep spotting these leads, because if we play like that out the gate, who knows? Maybe our starters get the rest of the last 6 minutes of the game, last 7, 8 minutes of the game. So we have to think of it in those regards. And I just, we'll get better. We'll get better. It sucks, man, and I'm so disappointed we didn't get that and close it out. But we'll get better from it for sure.
All right, that is Lakers head coach Darvin Ham right there. By the way, how am I going to argue with what he just said? Digging yourself a 20-point deficit in that third quarter and then having to use all your energy just to come back. This is, they had a similar, when I bring up the Philly game, is because they were down against Philly pretty much the entire time. And then it was really towards the end that the Lakers eventually came back. You could tell they're gassed by the time overtime comes. You could tell in both of those games that it was a wrap. I mean, look at the possessions. Look at the shots they were settling for. Look at where Braun was out on the court. Look where AD – I mean, Russ was trying to kind of take initiative, but Russ is not going to score 10, 12 points for you in overtime. It obviously has to be a team effort. Lakers just ran out of gas there in overtime. Final score tonight against the Boston Celtics, 122-118 in OT. When we come back, we'll take your phone calls. We get a chance to listen to Russell Westbrook as well. Stay right here. Pizza Hut Lakers postgame show on 710 ESPN.
Reaction on the Lakers line.
Presented by Pizza Hut. Try the new Detroit style from Pizza Hut. No one out-pizzas the Hut.
Hi, this is Anthony Davis of your Los Angeles Lakers.
Hi, it's LeBron. The Lakers play here.
It's time for Lakers Postgame with Sliwa.
Now, here's Alan Sliwa.
I need a break from the everyday. Well, fans, it might be your lucky day because tonight, Fantasy Springs Resort Casino is giving away a 2-night stay, plus dinner and golf or bowling for two. Make any day your lucky day. Book now at FantasySpringsResort.com. Lakers lose to the Boston Celtics in overtime, 122 to 118. That one hurt, Laker fans. Not really sure what to tell you, but that one definitely stung and will sting for a little bit. You could kind of add that to a few losses so far for the Lakers this year that you're going to look back on and say, damn, we should have got that W, and the Lakers didn't make it happen tonight. Okay, so I'm going to start taking some callers. I ask you if we do go to Laker fans out there, there are a ton of people, as you can imagine, that want to react to this game. So please, if you could get right to your point, I greatly appreciate it so I could try to take as many calls as I can. Ali in Anaheim. What's going on, Ali?
What's going on? I'll get to the point real quick. There is this trend in Laker games when we get to the last few minutes of the game and they just start holding the balls too long, and they just they get out of rhythm and they just let the other teams back into it. They just start shooting up a three right at the end of the shot clock, and they're just getting up bad shots. Usually ends in a LeBron step back because he's tired. I don't know what it is, but he's just taking like 4 threes at the end of the game.
Bad shots,
and not one of them is close.
Ali, and I'll add to that, and I appreciate you calling in. If you're the Boston Celtics, you're saying, all right, sounds good. You want to take a three? Lakers shot 28% from the three-point line. That's not their strong suit. LBJ, look at LeBron's stat line. He's 14 of 25 from the field. He missed 11 shots. Do you know 8 of those misses were three-point shots? And, listen to John and Michael on the broadcast. You can tell when some of those shots are just tired legs. So, Ali, I don't disagree with you. I wish in those moments where the Lakers decided, okay, because these guys are obviously tired, let's either I'm not saying you take LeBron or Anthony Davis out, but use other players that maybe you think are a little bit more fresh that you can run plays for. Maybe you're using LeBron or AD more as a decoy. And I know that, it's hindsight now and trying to, run a play that's not to LeBron or Anthony Davis. I could see where other people say, well, why the hell would you do that? John in L.A., what's going on, John?
Hey, how you doing, man?
Good, man. Thank you.
I keep on thinking of the 1980s Lakers and what Pat Riley used to do in training camp. He used to run these guys for endurance training. That way, in a game like this wouldn't be an issue. These guys get excellent training, yet we're going to talk about AD being tired because he had to play the second half. In a Boston-LA game, you don't miss 2 free throws at the end. Darvin Ham is talking about, we can't go down 20. Well, we were up 13 with 4 minutes left. You can't miss 3 wide-open layups in the first half, and you can't miss 2 free throws with 28 seconds left. It's a simple.
Appreciate you calling in. I'm going to keep going here. I'm going to keep kind of racking through a couple of these calls here. Greg in Riverside. What's going on, Greg?
Going on, man. Yeah, tough loss tonight, but I think the problem we can't put teams away. I know we were up 13. Williams hits the three-pointer in the corner, and then Smart has that quick steal, cuts it down to 8, and I think that just gives them hope and belief that, okay, we're still in this game. Like, that point, you think we can go up by 16, 15 and put them away, but we just can never do that, and it's frustrating.
Thank you for calling in, buddy. All right, let's do this. I want to go to Russ. If you're on hold, stay, and I'll do my best to get everybody in tonight. I would say the theme of those first 3 calls, the frustration every Laker fan probably shares. I'm sure, I've got that opportunity to listen to Darvin Ham in the pregame, the postgame, practices, this, that. I guarantee you it stings for him as well. It's not perfect basketball. I'm not going to make an excuse. The whole Pat Riley days, and this is what he used to do. It's a different NBA. It's not run like that anymore. But 46 minutes for Anthony Davis, that's a ton of minutes. I cannot make an excuse for missing those free throws at the end. AD's a good enough player, and he understands those are closing moments. Sometimes we want to talk about the guy that hits a fadeaway with, no time left on the clock, or it's Kobe in an 18-footer and it's a buzzer beater. I know those are clutch, but so are free throws. And you hit those free throws, it's just as big as hitting that clutch shot. And AD's got a couple games now where he had opportunities to close out games, and he didn't do it. And it led to overtime, and Lakers got 2 L's in those 2 overtimes. All right, here's Russell Westbrook on the Lakers loss. By the way, Russ' stat line tonight, 20 points, 14 rebounds, 5 assists, and 4 block shots, just 2 turnovers. Struggled from the field, 7 of 19. Here's Russ.
Russ, how do you guys handle the emotional swings of a game like that, to be down 20 and then get the lead and Boston kind of chips away? What did you think was there down the stretch?
But to answer your first question, you just keep competing and then kind of figure the rest out later. And then down the stretch, they made some tough shots, tough battling back and trying to close the game out. So, but we had it, competed well.
Russ, are there any specific moments after you guys were up 13 that stand out to you as when the tide started to turn? Was it I think there was a 3, and then Marcus Smart kind of slid in and stole an inbounds pass? Was there anything else like that kind of stood out to you that triggered their run maybe after you guys had kind of taken control of the game?
I'm not sure.
Russ, because you've had these swings, like in tonight's game, you're down 20, then you go to an 18-0 run, or the season, you're 2-10, then you win 8 out of 10. Do you have a sense of who you are as a team? Like, do you do a belief in who you are as a team, and what is that if you do?
You got to. If you're a competitor, you should believe, but I can't speak for everybody. I know for myself, as long as I'm God willing to be able to compete, then I'll do that till it's all said and done. But I'm pretty sure guys believe, just about creating some consistency, across the board.
Any more questions for us?
Down the stretch, Russ, do you like that Darvin kind of rolled with the same group? I think the same 5 played all 12 minutes in the fourth. Do you like that he trusted you guys to close it out? Do you like that he didn't call timeout on that last stretch? Right before, when you had a chance to go ahead at the buzzer.
Oh, yeah. Guys played in the league a long time. Bron, AD, missing shot. Live with it. No need to stoppage play. He did a good job of kind of, thinking getting the shot we wanted and missed it.
Yeah, Russ, I know it comes down to the W's, but at the same time, being able to compete head-to-head with this team, Philadelphia, Milwaukee, you beat, does it show, in your mind, improvement on this team? Are you going in the right direction?
There's some spurts, for sure.
All right, that's Russell Westbrook right there. Let me squeeze in another quick call here. Let's go to Kelvin in Compton. What's going on, Kelvin?
Yeah, coming back from the game, very frustrating to have 3 quick questions. Number 1, why is Patrick Beverly starting? Number 2, who is Troy Brown? Number 3, why is LeBron taking a 3-pointer when we only need 2 points or 1 point to win the game?
I appreciate you calling it. Let me answer those. First off, Patrick Beverly, he only played 19 minutes. So even if he's starting, he's not playing starter minutes. I give Darvin Ham this. He had a crew in that brought the Lakers back. And that crew was LeBron, Anthony Davis, Russ, Austin Reeves, and Troy Brown Jr. And a lot of times coaches they'll just kind of stick to the game plan and say, all right, well, I got to take this guy out because there's 5 minutes left. Pistons and Lakers were playing on Sunday. Bogdanovich had 25 points in the third quarter, 25 points. Dwayne Casey of the Pistons took him out to start the fourth quarter. It was the best defensive move the Lakers had was because Dwayne Casey took him out. The reason why Troy Brown Jr. played as much as he did, 31 minutes, and look, I know the stats are not going to tell the full story. His stats are not going to tell you that he should have been in the game because he had 2 points and 3 rebounds, only took 3 shots. He's a plus 12. He actually had the highest plus-minus on the Lakers team. Troy Brown Jr. was in the game simply because the team was winning when he was in the game. So he went with a lineup that took them all the way back, and that's why he stayed with them. Now you can make an argument, make adjustments once Boston started making their run to close out the game. And then the last thing on Bron, I think Bron started firing up threes because LeBron James was tired. That's why. And I don't have another reason for you. LeBron James played 43 minutes tonight. So that's why I think LBJ was firing up those threes. Okay, when we come back, we'll get LeBron James. We'll get a chance to hear LBJ on the loss and get his thoughts on this 122-118 overtime loss against the Boston Celtics. This is the Pizza Hut Lakers postgame show on 710 ESPN.
The Lakers play here.
You're listening to the Pizza Hut Lakers postgame show.
Highlights from tonight's Lakers game. And your reaction on the Lakers line. The Los Angeles Lakers on 710 ESPN.
Presented by Pizza Hut. Try the new Detroit style from Pizza Hut. No one out-pizzas the Hut.
Once again, here's Alan Sliwa.
All right, Points in the Paint all season long is sponsored by Vista Paint. Right now, local residents can take 40% off on factory direct high-quality Vista Paint products. A Vista Paint team member will show you how. Locally owned, manufactured, and operated since 1956. Visit VistaPaint.com and start saving. Lakers lose in overtime 122-118 against the Boston Celtics. We're down 20. Came all the way back. We're up 13. Had opportunities to win the game. Obviously, Lakers can't close it out. Before we get to LeBron James, let me take a couple quick calls here. Let's go to Jesse in Portland, Oregon. What's going on, Jesse?
I just wanted to say the Lakers definitely struggled from the three-point line, and the Celtics capitalized on that. You could see in the second quarter they were shooting all the points in the paint, and they were starting to come back, and the Celtics noticed that, and they said, well, we got to keep them out of the paint and make them shoot all these difficult shots. And then the Lakers struggled to guard Jaylen Brown and guard
Tatum.
guard
Tatum.
Trent.
Yeah. Yeah, Jesse, I thought you were going to say Jason Tatum. I appreciate you calling in. I think they were baiting the Lakers to take those threes. I really do. I think there's, especially, there are a few times that the defense was nowhere even near Russ. I think to an extent they would prefer, obviously, LeBron to take threes. Go look at the stats. Bron shot 14 to 25, yet he missed 8 threes. So most of those misses are coming from the three-point line. I don't think it takes, obviously a genius to realize that the Lakers, they struggle from three, 8 of 29 from the three-point line. Boston, 19 of 48. Boston was plus 33 from the three-point line. That says everything right there. David in Rochester, New York. David, thank you for calling in.
Hi, Alan. Big fan, buddy. You know that.
Thank you, man.
I just want to talk about, I think it was when we were up 13, LeBron shoots a three, we miss the three, they come down and hit one. Call timeout there. The lazy pass by LeBron, cut it to 8. You know what I mean? And why isn't LeBron going to the hole at the end of the game? It makes no sense.
Well,
I got to go.
David, I appreciate you calling in. David's got to go. He called us, but he has to go. All right, so the one thing I'll say is I think on the 8-point lead and call timeout, I'm with you on that. I don't think this actually happens enough in the NBA. I don't think you have to overcoach, but I think it's clear when you're starting to feel like, okay, momentum's starting to change here. And maybe LeBron and Anthony Davis, maybe they got some tired legs. Maybe we run some type of a play where it doesn't involve them and they're a decoy. Lakers ran a play against Philly. If you guys remember this, they were down 3, and they ran a play for Austin Reeves taking a 3, and Reeves got fouled. He hit 2 of the 3 free throws. We know what happened. Lakers then got another opportunity, and AD hits 1 of 2 free throws. Game went into overtime. But sometimes the best play is when you're using your stars as a decoy. And again, I know it's kind of a difficult argument to make because it's LeBron and Anthony Davis, but I understand where David's coming from, that when the team is struggling, call that timeout. See if you can run a set play. See if you can catch the Boston Celtics a little bit of a surprise. You can't have 2 guys every night just win the game for you. And I know Russ had his moments tonight, but he was 7 of 19 from the field. You were hoping other guys would step up. I mean, for me, Lonnie Walker IV, Dennis Schroeder, it's some of those other role players that you got to see more from. All right, LBJ on the Lakers' loss. He had 33, 9, and 9 tonight. Also had a couple of steals. Here's LeBron on the 4-point loss to the Celtics.
LeBron, you guys had ridden that wave with basically the same lineup, late third, like almost all the way through the fourth, to the point where you get up by 13. What's the level there of fatigue versus just wanting to close it out, and how did you see things turn?
We gave ourselves a chance to win. We didn't close it out, but loved our effort. I loved our tenacity in the second half, and put ourselves in a position to win a ball game. And playing against a very good team, but we weren't able to close it out.
LeBron, especially defensively, what do you think the switch was for you guys, and what did you like about that group that played the whole fourth and most of the overtime?
We just picked up our physicality. And we was just very in tune with the game plan. So made him take some tough shots. I mean, this is a tough shot-making ball club. I mean, from Tatum to Brown, Marcus Smart always makes timely shots. Grant Williams makes some tough shots as well. But you want to just try to make them take tough shots, and you tip your hat off to them when they make them. But you just try to be physical with them, and like I said, make them take tough shots.
LeBron, I know it's hard to go big picture in the emotion of something like this, but how do these almosts, like the almost in Philadelphia, the almost tonight, what does that say big picture about this team? Does it say that you guys are moving in the right direction?
That we lost. You're talking to the wrong guy talking about an almost win.
Does it change your long-term view of this team?
No, we lost.
Well, some of us saw AD in there just looking apoplectic, like head down, 1,000-yard stare, and he took responsibility for how Philly ended, and I imagine he's probably feeling some of the same way after those free throws with 28 seconds left. How do you lift him up as a group and recognize that that's one part of many things that went into tonight's game?
It just means he loves the game. I mean, if it was the other way around and he was in there smiling, then you'd be questioning what type of teammate you got. You would. If you go up and miss 2 free throws in a big game like that, and then you come to the locker room and the guy's laughing and joking, you'd be questioning what type of teammate you got. So I know who I'm rocking with every single night. So I'm absolutely okay with the way he's feeling. And we got a couple of days. Hopefully he leave it here today. If not, take the car ride home, but try not to take it in the house. But if it's one guy on this ball club that I love going up to the free throw line in the clutch is AD. He's been on the other side a lot more times than our 4 years together of closing out games at the free throw line than on the other side. So not worried about it one bit.
Darvin said one key is that the team needs to come out with more urgency. You guys got down 13 points in the first quarter. What has to happen to keep games closer earlier, and you don't have to expend as much energy?
Every game is different. Every game is different. Those guys hit some tough shots and some big shots early on. And we got down 15-5, and we got down as much as 20. But every game is different. I told you guys this morning that the hardest game to play after a long-ass road trip is that first home game. So it probably took us, unfortunately, a quarter to get our legs up underneath us. They played last night, so they're going to be in more of a rhythm. So I don't look too far into it as well. I've been doing this for 20 years. I know. I told you this morning it's the hardest game to play after a 12-day road trip is that first home game, and it showed that in the first half.
Last two, I'm going to take Jovan and then BT.
LeBron, along those lines, as someone who has played, thousands of crunch time games, are there any observations you're having from some of these close losses of just trends with kind of acknowledging each game is different, but are there certain kind of things that you see going wrong, or is it kind of a case-by-case basis?
No, case by case. That team over there has played in more crunch minutes than we have as a unit. So they know exactly what they want to do down the stretch. They know exactly how they're going to execute. They don't waver. That's exactly what it is. We're learning. Every game is a game to game basis for us. We're learning how we want to play. Like you said, we had a lineup that finished the game tonight that I don't know has finished the game this season. So it's definitely case by case.
LeBron, Darvin took some of the blame for this, especially fourth quarter, playing on you guys all the minutes. What does that tell you about him? And is it fair for him to take all the blame or some of the blame for a loss like tonight?
No. We win together, we lose together. Stay even keel. We all need to get better. We all take accountability for ways that we can be better, but I think him and his coaching staff put out a game plan. Us as players, we try to execute it. There's going to be times where you're on the floor and you definitely you mess up a coverage or you have a turnover or whatever the case may be. That's sport. That's life. Nothing is perfect. But we gave ourselves a chance to win. The coaching staff put us in position with a chance to win, and they was able to make more plays than we did. But I will enjoy my day off tomorrow for sure.
All right, that is LeBron James right there. Kind of a crazy stat here. Clutch points put out. The Celtics' biggest lead was 20 in the third quarter. Then the Lakers outscored them 41-9 and led by 13 with 3 minutes and 43 seconds left in the game. Boston then outscored the Lakers 29-12 over the final 3:43 of the fourth and overtime, and they end up being the Lakers 122-118. Let's take a quick break here. Hoping to hear from Anthony Davis. We'll take more of your phone calls, and then we'll talk a little bit about the upcoming Lakers schedule. Stay right here. Thanks for being a part of the show. Pizza Hut Lakers postgame show on
Highlights from tonight's Lakers game and your reaction on the Lakers line.
Presented by Pizza Hut. Try the new Detroit style from Pizza Hut. No one out-pizzas the Hut.
Hi, this is Anthony Davis of your Los Angeles Lakers.
Hi, it's LeBron. The Lakers play here.
It's time for Lakers Postgame with Sliwa.
Now, here's Alan Sliwa.
All right, Lakers lose to the Boston Celtics, 122-118, the final score. I want to go back to something Braun said. Dan Wyke of the LA Times was trying to ask him. It sounded like, hey, you got those. Can you be encouraged by some of these almost wins, right? You almost beat Philly. You almost beat the Boston Celtics. And Braun kind of cut him off saying, no, you can't. And, when I started the postgame show tonight, I kind of referenced this, that if somebody wants to sell me on the whole, hey, you're hanging with better teams now, they're 11-16. You don't have, when you start the season out 2-10, it's if the Boston Celtics lose tonight, they still have the best record in the NBA or second best record in the NBA. I think second because I think Milwaukee would have passed them. When the Lakers lose, they're 13th in the Western Conference. There's a big difference. So I'm with Braun on that one. It's like, all right, yeah, it's cool that you're hanging with some teams, but you don't have the luxury when you start the season out 2-10. Next 5 for the Lakers, by the way, you got the Nuggets at home, Wizards at home. Then you're at Phoenix, at Sacramento, and then I think that last game is also – I think that game's actually here, the Charlotte Hornets game, before the Lakers. In December, you go take a look at that schedule. It's brutal. So that's why when you have opportunities to win, and nobody was expecting. I know for me, I knew tonight, at best, it was going to be a real battle for the Lakers. But what is frustrating is when you feel like the team has put themselves in a position to win and they can't close out the game. All right, Geraldo in Norwalk. What's going on, Geraldo? Geraldo, you there, bud?
Intensity
Yeah,
and
go
have
ahead.
great shot selection. I'm sorry?
Yeah, go ahead. Sorry, I cut you off.
No worries. I'm just saying it's confusing how they have great defensive intensity and great shot selection. They build a good lead after falling behind by 20 and then do a complete 360, make careless mistakes, and take bad shots. I also think LeBron took that last three because Tatum hit that dagger over him. If he was tired, he should have gave it to AD or Reeves.
Well, it's funny because that possession, I appreciate you calling in. AD was kind of coming up like, hey, I'm going to set a screen for you. And LeBron James, you could tell, was like just sizing up Tatum, saying, no, I'm taking this final shot. LBJ has been in that position many times before. And if LeBron hits the shot, nobody's saying anything. If he's not, then that's when we're saying, hey, you should take a better shot. And I'm with you. I don't disagree with that. I do think tired legs came into play. And I do think, ultimately if your stars are gassed as that game is closing, running some better execution is better. And something Geraldo mentioned as well. It felt like 3 different games, down 19, up 13, and then Boston closes out the 3:43 of the fourth quarter plus the overtime, 29-12, plus 17 in that department. All right, let's go to McGee in San Pedro. What's going on, McGee?
What's going on, Alan? We have zero support and help for these guys. The last shot made by somebody other than AD, LeBron, and Russ was Lonnie Walker with 4:57 in the third quarter. It's just not going to work that way. These guys gave 90 points. Beverly, Nunn, Bryant, like, where are you at, This was the game where you needed your support and cast.
Well, McGee,
the rivalry game.
McGee, I think it's a great point, and I think that's why people keep talking about that December 15th date if they can get some help. There are players on this roster that, on a consistent basis, they're not delivering. And I think to play off what you just said, what makes teams in the NBA so dangerous, I know we could look at star power. I get it. We can all just pay attention to the stars. Role players. That's what makes teams dangerous. I look back. If you want me to look back to the last championship Lakers had in 2020. Yes, of course, Anthony Davis, LeBron James, of course. Danny Green's hitting big buckets. KCP's doing what he's got to do. Kuzma's finding a game that he's going to contribute. Dwight Howard, JaVale McGee, Rondo. It takes some of these role players. Go back to the Kobe Powell days. Meta's hitting big shots. Trevor Ariza's doing his thing. Andrew Bynum, Lamar Odom, Sasha. It takes role players. So I don't disagree with what you're saying right there. I don't think the Lakers have enough role players. Okay, one more quick call. Ken in Newport Beach before we go to AD.
Hey, real quick. You know, I grew up with Pat Riley and Phil Jackson. There's no way when their players are tired, they don't use maximum timeouts. There's no way that they leave the same players in there for the final 17, 18 minutes. No way that happens. And there's no way that during you call a timeout, you don't call a play instead of having LeBron try to throw up bricks. I'm sorry. This thing is killing me. But we got an amateur as a coach, and he allowed them to lose that game by not calling timeouts. That's the fourth game this year. It's happened, and it's killing me. I'm telling you, I wish it wasn't, but it's kind of great game until the end.
Ken, appreciate you calling in. So one thing I'm going to push back on is you're using the players. He did play them for a long stretch because they were having success. I had a caller calling earlier to say, why is Troy Brown Jr. in there? Well, he was in there because the Lakers were having success with Troy Brown Jr., as in that lineup was having success. But then you can make a case over that final 3:30, 3:45, whatever it was, when things were not working and they were leaning towards a different direction, what kind of adjustments do you make from there? Here's Anthony Davis on the Lakers' 4-point loss.
We would kind of expect to see you like that at your locker, considering the free throws, everything else that happened in the game. Is it tough to get past that specifically, or are you able to process and kind of think about the big picture and move on?
I don't know. I mean, I haven't thought about the rest of the game. Make 2 free throws, go up 4, different ball game. So to me, the rest doesn't matter. Have a chance to ice the game, miss both.
You guys were able to finish, in Detroit with a win, following the disappointment of Philly. And you took ownership of the way Philly went because of the errant free throw. What did you do to get yourself over that, and what can you do now to get yourself in a space to look forward to this Denver game?
I got 2 days. Pretty sure I'll be over it by then, but just tough. I mean, Boston's a great team. Philly's a great team. 2 great teams in the East. Got a chance to, as a team, but me personally have a chance to kind of seal both games. Missed one in Philly, missed both tonight. Which both resulted in losses. So I know it's more to it in a game where you can point things out, lead with 4 minutes and all that, but we had to do a better job of executing in that situation, playing with the late game. But, for me, you go back to the free throws and Philly, go up 1, no timeouts, full court, and then, go up 4 and, 2 possession games. So, that's what my head is right now.
AD, I think you came back in at the 5-minute mark of the second quarter and didn't exit the rest of the game. I know you don't want to use that as an excuse necessarily, but how tired were you at the end of the fourth and playing, almost 30 straight minutes or something like that? Like, what was that kind of like for you physically?
I was fine. That's not an excuse of missed free throws or anything. I could have asked to come out. Felt good. And so me.
AD, was there a moment after you guys went up by 13 that it felt like Boston's intensity level switched? Is there anything that stands out from those 4 minutes, other than obviously the things that you're hyper focused on right now?
I think they just started playing a little bit faster with a sense of desperation. Tatum started hitting shots. Grant hit a 3 on the wing. Marcus Smart's getting to the basket. I know it just things, and they were coming down. And we missed a lot of shots. Obviously, we're trying to get to our money maker role. It's me, Russ, me and Bron, whatever. But they came down and executed their plays and transition. Jason Tatum, the land one, the layup, all those things just kind of played a part. Which they were able to cut the lead, but I think they just started playing with a sense of desperation and executed their offense.
AD, this team and just in general, you've been someone that can be counted on at the free throw line, and you mentioned that that's what's going on in your mind, but you guys still had 5 minutes left to play. So as a player for yourself, what is that challenge then in overtime in that moment as you have to kind of leave it there?
You got to have a next play mentality, especially when you got 5 minutes of basketball left. Hold myself to a standard from the line. It's unacceptable for me, but you got to go and try to complete the game and go up 4, Russ 2 layups. Then they get a layup and a 3. So I don't know. I honestly just got to go back and watch overtime and the last 4 minutes, 5 minutes of the fourth, but. Right now, it's just the free throws just kind of went on me. So the rest of the game, I really don't even know right now.
Yeah, you only took 1 shot in the overtime. Was that something they were doing or something?
I don't know. I got to go back and see.
AD, can you talk about, obviously we've been focusing many people on these 3 games, the win over Milwaukee, the very excellent game against Philadelphia, and then tonight. Does it show this team is making progress compared to the start of the year? Do you think this is a much stronger team than you were at the start of the year?
Yeah, we're competing. We're a team that we feel like we can match up with anyone and win any game. So, we got a bunch of fighters on our team, guys who can make plays. We just got to finish games when we playing against some of the good teams, Boston, Philly. But, we're a team that believes in what we do and what we got.
All right, that's Anthony Davis there. First off, I think everything he said, I couldn't have scripted it any better. AD starts out the postgame talking about you missed the 2 free throws. That's the ball game. The free throw he missed against the Philadelphia 76ers, that's the ball game. AD can hit free throws. He's an 83% free throw shooter this year. I've done games. The game against Philly, he was 13 of 14 from the free throw line. He missed 1 free throw. Just happened to be the most important one. And I think tonight, he is mentioning he doesn't even think about anything that happened after those moments. He had a chance to ice the game. And, I appreciate and respect that he is not shying away from that he's obviously well aware of it. And I agree with him. I do think that was the difference in the game. That's not to say that a 13-point blowing a 13-point lead with 3 and some change left to go, that there aren't a number of things that have to go wrong. But when you got the best player on the team with the ball and a chance to ice it, you want to see it, obviously. You want to hope that it's a wrap from there, and it wasn't the case for the Lakers. All right, Laker fans, a couple things here. Just a couple quick thank yous internally here. Thank you to Michael Funches. Thank you to Rebecca Womble. Thank you to Wilbert Flores, Josh Martinez, and the whole social team. We're live on all our social platforms as well, so I appreciate everybody helping out internally. A lot of the listeners and the callers, thank you for being a part of the show. This one's a tough one to swallow. Lakers lose to the Boston Celtics 122-118. A quick reminder here. Coming up tomorrow morning, you could start listening at 6 a.m. Keyshawn, Jay, Will, and Max. And then I'll be on with Travis Rogers from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. Mason Island after that. Sedano and Cap after that. But coming up next, it's the Road to the Cup with Dave Denholm. Stay right here. I'm Alan Sliwa. This has been the Pizza Hut Lakers postgame show on 710 ESPN.
Thank you for listening to Lakers basketball tonight. Game 27 of the season is in the books.
Lakers basketball on ESPNLA is sponsored by Subaru of Glendale,
the #1 volume Subaru dealer in California.
Lakers basketball delivered by new melts from Pizza Hut. Cheesy, crispy, and loaded with toppings for just $6.99. Enough for 2, price for 1. New Pizza Hut melts, only at Pizza Hut.
Presented by CallJacob.com. Winning.